Islands in the Caribbean have much for birders to discover, especially for someone who is an endemic lover.
Thank you for tuning in to Hannah and Eric Go Birding, a podcast by birders for birders.
I'm Hannah and he's Eric.
We created this podcast to share adventures, sometimes misadventures, and opinions that we have on different birding topics. We're definitely not experts, and anything that we discuss that might be controversial, I want you to remember there are own opinions, and it might be different from yours.
So there's some news out of Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, Hannah literally, you just shared the story like 20 minutes, 30 minutes before recording right now. It was really fascinating about
a new bird species.
A new bird species that's within a group of 4 of this type of jewel babblers. That was kind of interesting. These jewel babblers are segregated by elevation within Papua New Guinea, and this one is in an area that they're referring to as some sort of ridge. So I'm assuming it's only on that ridge, but it was really interesting. Again, with everything I think we discussed in our last episode of a different species that had been recently discovered, and then in the headline was it's recently discovered and it's already facing extinction. I think that's what this similar headline. I mean, this didn't have that headline, but it was similar thought.
Synopsis of the story was basically
well right at the end it mentions that in the camera traps that they found, they got 96 or so photos of this bird over 3 different camera trapping sessions since 2019, 2021, and 2024. And the camera traps also caught feral cats and dogs. Some of the dogs were with hunters, some of the dogs were just wild dogs just hanging out.
Yeah. Both
of which are predators or threats to the species. And it also mentions threats of global climate change being an issue with anything that's a montane species, especially montane species, because they don't really have anywhere to get away to follow that climate. So, because they're usually stuck. You get to the top of the mountain, that's as far as you can go.
Like what a lot of species in Hawaii, the issues that they're facing.
Yeah, a lot of stuff that they're facing, yeah. So, interesting news out of Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, so hooded jewel babbler. Another bird to add to the want list.
Yes. I mean, I haven't seen any of the other 3 jewel babblers either, so it's interesting.
That's such a fun name, though, jewel babbler.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me think of Aladdin.
Okay.
I don't know why. That's just what I go to.
All right.
So, yeah, that's cool. We'll add that in the show notes if you want to read more about that. Also, it's Christmas bird count season still until January 5th. So if you haven't had a chance to get out and participate in a Christmas bird count, check around you and see if there's any that work for your schedule and if you're interested in doing it, because it's a fun way to get with other birders and count birds.
Yeah, and our friends from the southern U.S. and southern U.S. into Central and South America, excited for them to go out in their flip-flops and shorts and t-shirts and go and do it. And we just got our wool socks and heavy jackets and thermal lined pants and everything ready. So
oh my gosh.
We're ready to go in a couple of days on our Christmas bird count in Sun River, Oregon, in chilly, snowy, icy conditions.
It has rained so much where we're at right now.
That's not even ice. That's just rain.
I know, but it's just been like miserable weather here. And people are even saying that. It's not just me.
You're right. It's not just you this time. Yeah. It's there is quite a bit of rain. Like everything is flooding. It's all throughout the Washington area is flooding. Northern Oregon was facing quite a bit of flood. A couple of highways are washed out. We can't. It's difficult to get down to where we live now because of washed out highways. So it's interesting. Lots of rain.
You know, my dream is to someday do a Christmas bird count in a place where I'm wearing shorts.
We didn't. Well, I guess I didn't participate in the ones. No, I did. In the valley?
It was still cold.
I think I still wore shorts.
I don't even remember you doing it. I did a couple,
yeah.
But yeah. No, I was just thinking about like in Houston when we lived there, that I kept thinking like, oh, okay, we're going to do one in Houston. It's going to be like chill weather. That one was miserable.
That one was, I think that's the coldest one I've done.
Yeah.
is the year we were in Houston and did the Houston CBC, like near the zoo.
No, I was thinking the one that we did out further. East of there, like with the guy from the National Wildlife Refuge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one was cold too.
Yeah.
Ooh. Trinity River?
Yeah.
Yeah, Trinity River, CBC. Yeah. Oh. That was a chilly one.
So hopefully, if you are doing Christmas bird count, you are nice and comfortable.
Or maybe you're even further south than that, and it's warm.
Just for the weather. And if you want us to come on a warm Christmas bird count sometime, just send us an invite. We'll see if it works.
Yeah.
I can talk Eric into it.
All right, so we have a Buy Me a Coffee and a Venmo, ways for people to support our show. We don't do this show for the money, but it is nice that we can get some support from listeners and people that follow us. And we wanted to thank Luke, Karen, and an anonymous listener for contributing to Buy Me a Coffee this month. So thank you guys all very much. We really appreciate it. And again, we do this just to share the love of birds and share our passion with anyone who wants to listen.
But there are costs that go into podcasting.
Costs, yeah.
And we appreciate everybody's help in with those costs, as well as everybody's listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that. But thank you.
All right, so Hannah, you've got 2 other podcasts in between Hannah and Eric Go Birding episodes. Last week, you had Women Birds Happy Hour come out. Who'd you have on?
So I had Serena Conforte, who is a guide in Italy and also in Berlin. So it was really fun to chat with her about those different parts of Europe, because I've actually never been to either of those. And I don't really know a whole lot of birders from like Italy specifically. Yeah. So that was really cool to talk with her about her experiences in being a birder there.
That's cool. And then next week, Bird Nerd Book Club. You read a book and interviewed an author?
Yeah, so I read Why Do Birds Sing? And that's by Dr. Grenier Clary, who is a Irish birder who lives in Australia.
Okay.
And she was very enthusiastic about, all of the stuff that she learned while she was researching this book. And it really developed based on citizen science, community science, things that she had participated in, and people asking questions. And this is her 3rd book, and they all kind of have a similar track, why do birds do this, or why, and it was really fun to talk with her about all these connections about birds that are about their song, but not just about their song, like their brain chemistry and all this other stuff, and how they sleep. And yeah, so check either of those podcasts out anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And the Bird Nerd Book Club comes out on January 1st.
It does.
So you start the year off right reading books, right?
Exactly.
Just on the 1st.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about like if we have any goals for next year.
No. Be thinking about it for next episode.
Okay. Yeah. You too. So Eric, we're going to a couple places. Where are we going?
Yeah, so Morro Bay Bird Festival in mid-January. We're going down there, Central California coast. Very excited about that. Again, we went there last year, and we're going to be doing similar stuff this year. But it's really fun. It's a nice break away from the rain in Oregon in mid-January. And then
knock on wood, that's nice weather.
Yeah, we'll see. And then in February, we're going to be going to Japan. So we'll be going from cold, rainy to
snowy,
hopefully warm in Morro Bay.
Sure.
And then up to snowy. And then all the way to the far extreme, northern Japan, we're going to be looking at
Stellar sea eagles.
Stellar sea eagles and sea ice and Flycatcher fish owl, all sorts of cool winter stuff in Japan. And then in April, we are going to be going to the Spring Chirp, guiding at that festival again. Can't wait to get back down to the Rio Grande Valley. I'm so excited that we have 2 reasons every year to go down there.
Yeah.
Spring and fall. So it really scratches that itch of seeing Rio Grande Valley specialties.
Seeing green jays.
Yeah.
And chachalacas. So that brings us to our December Bird Nerd giveaway. And what we had for the randomly selected winner is the Go Birding podcast hat. And the deadline for that was December 23rd. And what we were asking folks was, what has been a favorite bird gift you've received? A randomly selected winner was G. Brandon, who said that their favorite birding Christmas gift is binoculars, and they had a gifted pair that was their first birthday present when they were 9, which was a cheap Bushnell binocular, and then they kind of upgraded a couple times, and now they are sporting some Vortex Diamondbacks, and they have their eyes on a pair of Zeiss Conquest 10x42s. So they're hoping that Santa will maybe bring those, or they'll be able to.
They who knows, maybe we put the word out there for him.
For Santa.
Yeah, for Santa, if he's listening.
We actually have an in with Santa, so if you need anything, just send us a message.
We should have asked people to send us their wish list of what they wanted for Christmas.
Then I would have felt obligated to like fulfill those wishes.
No, it's up to us to just get the word out to Santa.
Gotcha.
We don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, G. Brandon. We'll contact you and get you your hat. And also, if anybody does want to buy one of our Go Birding podcast hats, I guess there was a snafu on our Buy Me a Coffee website that wasn't like a plugin wasn't connected, and so people weren't able to purchase a hat that way.
Okay.
So if you donated money and that was your intention, I think it's $25 is what we set the price at for hats. So just send us a message, or if you would like to buy a Go Birding podcast hat, go to our Buy Me a Coffee, and it should be an extra up at the top.
Okay, so every year Hannah's family want to do an annual family trip that usually what we do is we close the hotel. We plan it 10, 11, 12 months out, close the whole hotel for a week, and just kind of get somebody to watch it to make sure that the place doesn't burn down or whatever. But we don't rent it for the week. And the whole family heads out and goes somewhere. Sometimes it's Disneyland, sometimes it's Disney World down in Florida, sometimes it's Hawaii. We've gone on many of these with
you all episodes. Understand how family trips work.
Yeah. So this year, there was a little bit of a hiccup. Hannah's sister had a baby, so she wasn't able to travel during the same time frame that we normally do this trip. So she ended up staying back. But we went. Hannah and I went with her parents on a trip. Hannah's mom's favorite type of trip, going on a cruise down into the Caribbean.
That way she doesn't have to worry about what Eric's going to eat, because Eric's a big eater.
He's a big eater.
A little bit picky. No, it's just, then you can eat whatever you want.
Exactly. Well, and
there's also entertainment randomly, so you can just do whatever you want.
Well, and when there's a larger group, like if you have 6, 8, 10 people or whatever, you go to the restaurants on the cruise ship, and they're used to serving 10 people groups.
Yeah.
Or like it's not a big deal. But you go to you're in some downtown place and you're like, oh, I want a table for 10. That's a big hassle for a lot of restaurants. So it kind of saves that sort of thing. You don't have to stand around and wait for a long time. It's just go in and enjoy family time together and then do your thing. Yeah.
Well, and I understand that cruising is not for a lot of people, and we've probably been on a lot more cruises than anybody our age. But yeah, that's just a way of traveling that works out for us.
So now we got all those caveats out of the way. Hannah's parents booked a cruise to the Caribbean for this year's trip.
Well, and I like to go to a different country every year, at least one. And we booked this before, I think we booked our trip to Fiji. And so this was going to be our new country, but then we went to Fiji. So
yeah, we booked this pretty far ahead of time comparatively to how we typically book trips.
So then I was like advocating for let's go to the one that goes to Jamaica, because that would be a new country, and there's a lot of endemics.
Of endemics there, and it was booked long before the hurricane hit Jamaica.
Sure.
We actually, leading up to it, we had we'd reached out, made contacts with 3 different guides, one in Jamaica, one in Grand Cayman, and one in Cozumel. And then after the hurricane hit, we were like, what do we do?
Well,
so,
the hurricane was like 3 weeks before our cruise was supposed
about
to
3
take
weeks, yeah.
place. And we were like watching their website, the cruise website. We were, paying attention to like Jamaica's tourism website. We honestly didn't know if the cruise would still be going to Jamaica.
And we got no feedback from
the
Norwegian Cruise Line, which is who we're booked through. We didn't get any feedback from anyone about whether or not things were going to Jamaica. And it's like, and we weren't concerned like, oh no, we're going to lose out our stop. We're going to go somewhere. Like that's like whatever.
Yeah,
but
no, there were people that lost homes.
100%.
And, yeah, we didn't want to be a burden on the people of Jamaica.
And so it was like this whole stressful, like, how do we navigate this? We've already booked this. We're going on this cruise. That's just one of the ports. What are they going to, are we going to find out if we're going there? Are we going to find out if we're not going there? And do we need to make alternative plans somewhere else? How do we deal with this? So we didn't hear anything for a long time, and finally, like a week before the cruise, I believe, we reached out to our guide who we'd hired there, Ricardo.
So we contacted Ricardo from Arrowhead Tours and just gave him, the information, like, we're not sure if the cruise is still going, and, if you have to cancel whatever, we're happy to still, pay the fee. We want to be supportive and not, like I said, not be a burden to him or the citizens of Jamaica or whatever. We understand that it's a horrible, stressful situation, and we don't want to we don't want to add to it.
Yeah, and to Ricardo's credit, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, just pay me the fee or whatever," he sent us a link. Actually, he sent us like 4 or 5 links to humanitarian websites.
Well, a great email that he sent out to a bunch of clients.
Yeah, and it was all these. Here are some ecological restoration companies that are doing work. Here are some humanitarian companies doing work.
Well, in Birds Caribbean.
Birds Caribbean. So if you want to send money to these organizations that are doing work fixing things.
Yeah. So we really appreciated Ricardo's candidness and his, recommendations of how we can be supportive of, those in Jamaica and the wildlife in Jamaica that was so devastated. But leading up to the cruise, and so we didn't think we had a plan. And I called the cruise line. The cruise line said, "No, you're still going to Jamaica." And we're like, "Okay, well, we'll just figure out something on our own."
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out there's a waterfall location that's near there. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But I messaged them and said "Hey, are you open?" because that was unclear. The director of tourism in Jamaica was very adamant about we need to open in early December because we need money flowing into the country.
Yeah, tourism is a huge part of the Jamaican economy.
Yeah. And so, we wanted to contribute in whatever way we could. By going to this,
if we're still stopping, we might as well go somewhere that has entry fees and pay it and do stuff.
Exactly. That's my point that I was getting at. So we had an alternative plan, and then Ricardo, a couple days before we were about to leave,
while we were already in Florida, had already made these plans, messaged us and was like, "Hey, I am actually free. I wasn't impacted by the hurricane. My guides weren't impacted by the hurricane. Sounds like you're still coming. I'm actually free now. My other plans fell through. I can come guide you."
Ricardo had a different client that their plans had fallen through, and so he was able to bring us. So anyways, we were excited to be able to go to Jamaica and have a guided trip and see some of the really cool birds that are there. But before we did that, we flew into Orlando and had a day where we went to the new Universal Park Epic, which was a lot of fun. So if you're into,
theme parks and movies and stuff like that.
And rides. Yeah, you might check it out.
Roller coasters and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had dinner at Chewy's Tex-Mex, which is one of our favorite chain restaurants.
We had to have talked about Chewy's before, but
Probably.
Chewy's is really good. They have a really good, what they call it, creamy jalapeno sauce.
I think it's creamy ranch.
Well, they call it creamy jalapeno, but it's basically like a jalapeno ranch.
Whatever, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's delicious, yeah. And it's really good. They have a happy hour that wasn't going on where they have the back of a car open like an
old
Thunderbird or something.
Yeah.
That has the back open and it's chips and salsa and chili cheese and stuff in there. So you just shovel it out onto a plate and get happy hour pricing. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. But it's a great chain restaurant.
It is a chain.
We wish we had up here. So then on the way to the cruise from Orlando, it was about a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, and the cruise didn't board till 3.
Yeah.
Where we weren't getting on till 3. So it's we had the whole morning to do whatever.
Yeah, so one of the things that we really wanted to do, and I was able to talk my parents into it, was to revisit Orlando Wetlands Park, which I think is one of our first episodes.
One of the early episodes, yeah.
Yeah, and it is one of the coolest places that we've ever been, in my opinion. It's a sewage treatment facility, or it's part of a sewage treatment facility. It's the final stage. So all of Orlando's waste flows through there.
Yeah.
And it's not smelly. It's just a huge, ginormous wetland.
And it's in Christmas, Florida.
Yeah.
And it's actually a pretty good distance away from Orlando.
That's what I was thinking.
It's a drive
Yeah.
to get there from Orlando proper.
Yeah. And it is, like I said, it is just so cool. It's the final stage where the water's settling and, there's insects that are breeding in it and birds that are enjoying it. And normal water treatment facilities like ours here where we live, I don't know how big they are, a couple hundred feet by a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, the cells, they're not huge, the settling cells where they're doing that final treatment. It's not huge, but you can see across them, and it kind of seems like man-made, like it's a rectangle and it's just there. But at Orlando Wetlands Park, it's so large, each of the cells are so large, it doesn't really look like cells. Yeah. It's just this giant,
it's a giant lake.
It's just big, huge lakes that are all kind of around, and it's if you didn't know that it was a wastewater treatment plant or part of one, then you wouldn't be able to tell when you visited it, because they kind of make a big deal of it on all the interpretive panels as you're going around, like, oh, it's doing this and it's doing that. But if you ignored all those panels, walked right into the park, it would just look like
a giant.
I mean, it kind of looks intentional, because the levees when you get to the levees between them, it's kind of obvious, like, oh, this looks like a man-made levee.
Well, kind of like in the same way that Ariana Grande State Park in the Valley looks.
Exactly.
Is that it just has all these man-made pools.
Mm-hmm.
But at their site, it's not reclaimed wastewater.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's just such a really interesting place. And when we first went there, they had like a trailer or mobile home situation.
Yeah, a little portable trailer building thing.
That was the friends of the site. They had some educational materials in there, and they do tours on certain days of the week. When we went there just now, they have like expanded in like greatly, and I don't know where the funding came
all that money came from, yeah.
But it's amazing to see that when you walk in, they have this huge, beautiful building now.
Oh yeah. Well, and before you get to the building, there's a nice restroom facility, flush toilets and everything, and then you walk another 100 feet or so into the park, and it's like this massive interpretive center.
Yeah. They have a boardwalk now through one of the cells, which was really fun, and that's basically all we did was go through that one cell with the boardwalk.
Yeah, and they do have tram tours on the weekends, but not on Sundays. It's like Friday, Saturday, I think, is the 2 days that they have tram tours. You can arrange for a private tram tour as well, but we just, spur of the moment, we're going there on a day that they don't normally offer a tram tour, so we didn't have a tram tour, but it's fine. It's nice short little walk around that one boardwalk and then around a cell.
But we got to see all of the Florida species that we haven't seen this year and that we wanted to, like limpkins and wood storks and, anhingas and tricolored herons and little blue herons and every possible thing you could want to see. And it was a beautiful day out too, so it was really pleasant to walk through. Turtles in the pond, a couple alligators too, and we walked through the boardwalk, and at the end of at the corner of the boardwalk, there's a gate to go onto the levee to walk back, and so we were
to make it a shorter loop instead of going like this big huge loop. Yeah,
and so we decided to do that, but there were two good-sized alligators that were alongside the path. That one of them seemed interested as we walked past, and I kept a
little bit interested.
I kept an eye on it, but like steered very clear of that. So if you're going out there, just be aware there's wildlife all around you.
Give wildlife their space as much as possible.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting. It's nice because like there's wildlife, there's things living their lives, doing things, and this is a wastewater plant, so it's kind of fun.
Well, and it's such a nice location. We spent about an hour there and had 30 species, mostly water wading birds. But we did have like tree swallows and fish crows and lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So we got over to the port, got on the ship. Got into our room.
The parking garage was full of fish crows. The fish crows in the parking garage for the cruise, they were using the echo within the parking garage to amplify their voices. So it was like this so loud and nonstop. And I wish I would have recorded it, because it was like this weird juxtaposition of backup beepers and trucks running and fish crows calling all at the same time. So I wish I would have recorded that, but it was like
too much noise going on.
Yeah, it was a lot. We were also trying to just drop our luggage.
Yeah.
So it was a Norwegian cruise line, as I said earlier. We've cruised Princess cruise lines in the past. So basically, we get on the ship and turn off our phones.
Yeah.
Because the internet situation with Norwegian is completely different than Princess. So even though we got an internet package, it's kind of funky compared to the way Princess does theirs. So no internet until we get to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So get to Jamaica, turn on our things, and we had like a bunch of missed messages from Ricardo as he was trying to coordinate exactly when and where to meet us, and we didn't know because we didn't have internet until we arrived at Jamaica, and it's like, oh shoot, okay. So we coordinated with him. We got there just before 8 a.m. So we're coordinating with him. Beautiful sunrise over Jamaica as we're pulling into port, but coordinated with him. He met us just outside of security.
His instructions to get there were like perfect. It was like, you walk past this person, and I'll be in the car right there.
I'll be in the car next to the last guard house at the end of the road.
And we were anxious to get off because we told him, like, and he's done cruise ship passengers before.
Yeah.
So, we were like, we get in at 8. We don't know what time we're going to like actually get off the ship and get there. But we were in some of the first people to get off. And so we like raced off, and we were the first people through security all the way out to the end. Which
so many people were like stopping and like doing like stuff in the port.
Yeah,
like,
I guess
talking to the vendors and stuff like that. But we were making a beeline. We headed right out, walked right past all those vendors, walked past security, and we were literally the first people to walk past security out of the port.
Which was funny because at the end of the day, when we were getting back on the ship, we were some of the last people to get back, and the security guard was like, "Hey, you were the first people out this morning." And we were like, "Yep." We actually had like 2 or 3 people tell us that.
Multiple people because we were just like, "No, we're on a mission. We're walking right past." So they were like, first people going by. We're also carrying scopes and cameras.
I was going to say, we're pretty obvious.
Kind of recognizable that we're different than the rest of the cruise crowd. But we're going by and kind of like ignoring the vendors as they're trying to sell us stuff. And so a couple of the vendors mentioned
barely even opened.
They were, some of them didn't even open. They were standing outside like putting up shirts and stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a beautiful view of Jamaica. Ocho, Rios is where we were into. Mm-hmm. And then we got through security, got to Ricardo, jumped in the car, and we were on our way.
Yeah, and very quickly, Ricardo had not done a lot of birding in this area around Ocho Rios.
Because he lived a couple hours away. Right?
He lived a couple hours away. He lived all the way down in Kingston, which is full other side of the island. But he came up. He does bird in that area, but the areas that he birds in got hit by the hurricane heavily. So they were destroyed, and there was no trails, there was no habitat left. All the fruit and all the leaves, everything had been stripped off the trees, so it was kind of in recovery mode. So he's like, we're not going there. We're going to go somewhere else. And so he knew of another road that was really close to the port that actually turned out really good, but he had never been there before. He was like, I'm looking on the map looking for things that look like good habitat.
Well, and any other place that we've birded, they would have this designated on eBird as the dump road. Mm-hmm. So we like got up through some neighborhoods up to like the top of or like the side of a ridgeline.
Yeah.
And got out. There's obviously some dumping that was going on. There was a forest in front of us that had really been thinned out by the hurricane, but there were still lots of big trees that were standing. And then behind us on the other side of the road was, it looked like it was probably like a grassland at one point in time, but then had been overtaken by invasive species.
Yeah.
And so it was like visible, like there was sunlight that was getting
all the
to
way
like
down to the
mat
floor.
of invasive species.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it was definitely like re-veg, a whole area of re-veg. But good birds immediately. White crowned pigeons, as we're driving up, we got out of the car and immediately had a mangrove cuckoo, which we've tried for in the U.S. And failed. Got it for basically second bird in Jamaica. And then we had both sad flycatchers and stolid flycatchers. Both of which lifers, 3 lifers, boom, 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 all real quick succession. And I'm trying to take photos, and it's like, I can't keep up. Like we're minutes into birding at this point.
And right behind us, the morning sun was coming up over that like bearish hillside, and there was some brushy vegetation right next to the road, and a Jamaican vireo was singing right next to the road.
Yeah, singing.
And I think Ricardo wasn't like super into seeing it, but
he was because there was other endemics that were like, this is an easy endemic. It's all over the place. I think I hear the Jamaican.
I know, but it was like right there. It was like, how am I not seeing it? It was like the hardest vireo that I've ever had to find. Yeah. Because it was just so skulky.
And it wasn't like moving. Like normally you find like vireos hard to photograph, but they're visible. You keep seeing it as they move around. But this guy is like deep in there, staying hidden the whole time.
Well, it was like a belly height too. Like most of the time vireos, are like eye height and above. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this guy was really low. So he's finally got a look at that. It wasn't amazing, but it was a look.
It was a look.
And across the way were Jamaican crows that were calling and calling.
Yeah, and they were playing and calling and like pretty darn good looks, but not good light. Crows, like all of these blackbirds, they're difficult to get photos of anyways because they're just like singular solid colors. So you have to have the light has to be exactly right. Otherwise, it just kind of looks like you're just taking a picture of like a shadow, like a black thing up in the tree. And it's like, so I'm also not a very good photographer.
I was gonna say your pictures aren't bad.
You can tell what it is, but you can tell that it's a crow.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with these crows. Like, so this is our second lifer crow this year. Like, it's just a big black bird.
That's true.
Like,
it's a crow.
Yeah,
the
New Caledonian crow though actually did have some
different shape to its face.
But I mean, that's what it is. It was our second crow of the year. And
Yeah.
it's like big black bird. There's not like super distinguishing features of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a good look at those. And for some reason, I always think like crows in other places are like endangered. I don't know why. The New Caledonian crow, it's just so specialized and everything that I was thinking like, oh, this crow is really special. It's very uncommon. It's got to be endangered. But no, it's not at all.
No, it's not. No.
Like I'm dumb. And so for some reason, I have that stuck in my head about other species of crows, which is not the case at all. But anyways, that was really cool to see them. And then just, a minute later, we heard pecking on a tree, and it turns out to be a Jamaican woodpecker.
Yeah, super excited to see that. Again, I am a bad photographer, but I got some photos of the Jamaican woodpecker, which was super cool. I'm very, very excited. It's a Melanurpe, so it's like the red-bellied woodpecker or the golden-fronted woodpecker in the U.S. It's similar size, general-ish plumage is similar.
It's not as pretty.
It's not as pretty?
I don't think so.
I think it looks cool with the white on a little bit whiter in the face, and
it looks like it has a mullet.
Yeah, it is wearing it is wearing a mullet. It's classic, the classic hairstyle.
Right around the corner from there, we kept on walking, and there was a pretty solid flock of warblers moving through.
Yeah.
So American redstarts and Cape May warbler, northern parula, black and white, black-throated blue, palm warbler. It's like every warbler you could want. But, of course, fall warblers.
All fall warblers, which is generally when they see them there. But Ricardo suddenly, and like kind of unexpectedly, was like, have you guys ever seen a toddy before? He had
like looking at all these warblers.
It was just kind of like almost felt like when you're like hanging out with the bros playing video games late at night and they ask like a really random question like that. It's like, you guys ever seen a toddy before? And that 100% felt like that. And it was like, no, we haven't seen any toddies. And he's like, look right there. and there was a Jamaican toddy. So he had to have heard it calling, and it was just like right there.
Those things move like crazy.
Yeah.
They are insane.
It's like a mix between like a kinglet and a hummingbird.
Yeah, basically.
A kinglet mixed with a hummingbird. So.
And if you haven't looked at a toddy before, they are one of the cutest birds. They are like a bright lime green, or at least the Jamaican toddy, and then it has like a really small patch of red on its throat, and then like a tiny little bill. Like it's not even a hummingbird. I mean,
it's kind of hummingbird-ish, yeah.
But it is adorable, and it's cute, and it moves
and it has
so
like this
fast.
little ruby color in its armpit.
Yeah.
So
we actually ended up getting 3 of those moving through, and Ricardo, like, once we got a good look at it, he's like, "Here, have this pin." Yeah. And he had Jamaican toddy, pins.
Yeah, he had these pins made for Jamaican toddy, so it was super cool little pins.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
thank you, Ricardo, for the pins. That was those are super cool.
It was so cool to watch those, especially since that's like a bird family that I've always really wanted to see.
Yeah.
So a couple hundred feet down the trail, it opened up a little bit more, and there was there was more sun on a few trees.
Yeah,
there were a little bit further
fewer
off the
trees,
road.
a little bit taller trees that had flowers, some fruiting and flowering trees that were up. Surprisingly, had survived the hurricane. So, like Hannah described it a little bit, this area, it seems as if the western ridge of this area did not get hit.
The opposite side
of where we were at. The western ridge did not get hit by the hurricane winds, but the eastern side of the ridge did get hit. And so where we were standing was pretty devastated. The trees were completely stripped, but we got to hit this random corner. The trees weren't completely stripped. There was still some flowers left. There was still some fruits left. So we stopped and watched them for a little while and found some hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Just feeding on whatever they could find to feed on.
So we had the major one was red-billed streamer tails.
Yeah, big, huge guys.
Which have these long tails. Very cool. And then Eric and I turned around to, see if there's something on the other side. And there was something that came at us like one of those...
like moth style.
Moth hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
no, hummingbird moths.
Hummingbird moths, yeah.
Yeah, so it came at us like that. And I like had trouble. I mean, it was like 2 feet away from me. I had trouble like conceptualizing what this even is. Because it looked like a moth.
Yeah.
And
then Ricardo was like, "Oh, I think I hear a vervain hummingbird."
And then I was like reading the
like,
Merlin about it.
Oh, that's
Yep.
that's that moth that came and attacked us.
Exactly.
That like dive bombed us from like because there was flowers along the side of the hillside that were along too, like on some like ground cover flowers and stuff like that. So there was lower flowers. There's a few high flowers, which is what the red-billed streamer-tail was going after, and then the vervain hummingbird was going after these bushy flowers that were nearer to the ground. But he's like, "Oh yeah, I hear a vervain hummingbird. I wonder if we can get a look at it." And Hannah and I were both like, "We just did. It
just buzzed us.
It just buzzed us. It was right here." So that was pretty darn cool. And then we also ended up having a Jamaican mango. So we had all 3 of the hummingbird targets just boom, boom, boom within, I don't know, that was within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I just want to mention about the valley, because I feel like you can have different ideas in your head about how big a valley is. But this one was not very far across. I mean, it was a couple 100 feet across.
Yeah, and then,
I mean, it went down into a creek.
Yeah, a couple 100 feet down too.
So we could see the other side of the ridgeline really easily. And it had looked like a wind had just rushed up the hillside onto,
just on the side that we were on.
Yeah. So, it was an interesting experience.
Yeah. So Ricardo went back to go get his truck and left us there to kind of bird a little bit while we're waiting, because we're going to drive up the road a little ways. And while he was gone, we had a bunch of turkey vultures fly over, which was my first time seeing like leucistic turkey vultures. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, there's a bunch of them here," but I was surprised like to see turkey vultures with so much white in the wings. Like it was enough white that I started questioning, is this actually a turkey vulture? Because there was so much white. There were probably like 50% leucistic. Like it was pretty substantial. I got a couple photos of ones that weren't as like, but there was quite a bit, especially on their backs.
Yeah.
Like there was a substantial amount of white, and I was like, this has got to be something else. But flying like a turkey vulture, looking like a turkey vulture, all aside from the white. But yeah, just very interesting. So Ricardo got caught back up with us. We headed a couple of miles up the road. The road that we were on had a bunch of different spots where the road itself had washed all the way out and was currently being repaired, or trees had fallen over and knocked the power lines down. And so there was actually crews out there. We passed crews a couple of times that were working on cutting stuff out of the road and reopening the road, because this is a road that actually goes back to houses. And there's some resort stuff back there, but it's a lot of houses. There were like people living,
like zipline areas,
zipline things. Like, there was
things to
stuff.
Go, raft the creek.
Yeah. So there was infrastructure to get to back there, but it was people couldn't get back there because the road was closed or partially closed. So there was crews clearing that up. We'd have to wait for a few minutes for them to clear some stuff out of the way, and then we drive around them, and we eventually got back to some more intact habitat. We passed most of that damage up and got back to an area that hadn't really been impacted that heavily by the hurricane. And he was like, Ricardo's like, "Oh, let's get out here and walk for a little bit." And he's like, "This is a good area for a Bacard. I've had Bacard here before. Let's see if we can find something." And I turn around and I'm like, "What's that's a Bacard nest, right?" there was like this clump, like literally right over the middle of the road, that was a Jamaican Bacard nest.
Well, and if you listen to our Tucson episodes where there was a roast through Bacard right alongside the road, the Bacard nest almost looked like flood vegetation,
like it gathers up on a branch and kind of turns into this big messy glob of garbage.
Yeah, and so that's what it looks like, and then you're like, oh wait, but that's 30 feet up in the tree.
Yeah, that is like if a flood had pushed debris that high, this entire valley would be 40 feet underwater.
Exactly.
Like that's not flood debris up there. But we're standing there looking, and then suddenly we get one. It wasn't that far near the nest. It wasn't really associating with the nest. Ricardo thinks that nest may have been last year's nest, and they're not using it, but not. I have no idea. Just we had a Bacard, and there was a Bacard nest, so that was super cool.
Yeah, and where we were at was at the bend of a road, as it came down a hill and then it turned. So where that bend was a really nice piece of habitat, and like it was really dense habitat in
Oh,
there
yeah.
too. So we had a lot of things flying back and forth, and Jamaican alania, Jamaican peewee, rufous-tailed flycatcher. It was like flycatcher time.
It was flycatcher hour,
Yeah.
for sure.
And lots of white-chinned thrushes all over the road. So they were pretty easy to suss out. And then we got a bright yellow bird that Ricardo was very excited about. Turned out to be a Jamaican spindalis.
Yeah, that was pretty darn exciting. So we're just ticking off endemics left and right and left and right, and we ended up having lots of banana quits, and then an orange quit also right here at the corner.
I was looking for a strawberry quit, and I didn't see any of those.
No strawberry quits.
No.
No other sorts of fruits.
Coconut quit.
Coconut quit.
Yeah.
Fruit quits. All sorts of fruit quits.
So once we kind of were done checking out those birds, we walked up the road, up the slope. I mean, only a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, not that far up.
Just to look over where we were just standing. And there were warbler flocks that were moving.
Little black and
next to
white
the
warblers hanging out like on these down trees that were next to the road. And it was like, oh.
Jamaican oriole.
Jamaican oriole, yes. All sorts of like cool things.
So overlooking that little area with the warblers, there was better look at Alania.
Yeah, much
so you
better
actually
look
got
than-
a picture of it.
I got a picture from there, so that was nice. But not a lot of other stuff. The wires were also like super low and kind of a little bit terrifying because this area, the lower area had not been hit by the hurricane, but as we went up the ridge a little bit further, a couple of trees had come down, knocked wires down.
Well, there was a lady who her house was right in the middle of that bend,
Yeah.
and when we like parked, she yelled up at us something about like the
She,
telephone pole came down.
she I think she was warning us about the wires that are in the road, but then I think Ricardo asked if everything was fine, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm so lucky. The tree fell away from my house. I'm all good. Everything's good." And like when we were looking at it, like literally the tree, if it would have gone like 2 degrees to the right, it would have right on the top of her house, but it fell. No damage to her house. I imagine she's still out of power when we were there.
Yeah.
But the tree was down, power lines were down, but it was just away from all of her buildings. So she was happy that it didn't hit her house.
Yeah, and
which is good.
Super friendly. I mean, didn't hassle us at all about birding there.
Yeah.
So we went back to the car that was like right at the bend, and as we were kind of all slowly trying to decide if we wanted to get in the car or not, Ricardo had a chestnut-bellied cuckoo that was like up in the trees, like way into the habitat
all
that
the
was
way
away
up to
from
the
the
top.
road.
Yeah. So that was super cool.
It was a
Really,
big
really
bird.
distant, very big bird. Much larger than like you guys kept talking about it. Like, oh, it's up there because it took me forever to see it.
Yeah, you didn't.
I took forever to find
Yeah.
that thing. I was that day. I was having a really hard time that whole day. You know how some days when you're out birding and everyone is seeing everything and you're seeing nothing.
No, I don't have those days.
You don't have those days. Well, maybe some of our listeners do, but some days like I feel like everyone's seeing everything, and I'm like I don't even know where you're looking. But there's other days where it's like I'm on top of it. I'm seeing everything. But I was just having an off day, and I was not seeing anything. Like it was like every time Hannah would say, "Oh, I see blah blah blah," or Ricardo would say, "Oh, there's a blah blah blah," I would be like, and it'd take me like you guys are like ready to move on to the next thing before I finally find it. And it's like okay, finally.
Well, and the thing that he was really hoping for right there was a Jamaican lizard cuckoo.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't see that. We
No
saw the chestnut-bellied cuckoo, though, which was still really cool.
Mhm.
And, you know, cuckoos are just such interesting-looking birds.
Yeah.
They're actually really pretty
Oh yeah.
and large. At least some of them. So we got most of the endemics that we came for, and it was getting pretty
Well,
hot.
There was a lot more endemics left on Jamaica.
Well, that we had anticipated getting that day. And it was getting pretty hot, and
Mhm.
Ricardo had one last thing that he wanted to show us, which was yellow-bellied Amazon. And the best place that he knew for that, since we hadn't already gotten it, was this condo complex on Mahogany Beach, not far from the cruise port at all. So we took a trip
We
over
literally
there.
drove down to the cruise, and he's like, "There's your ship. We're gonna go over and see. We're gonna go over to these condos real quick."
Yeah.
So we headed over to these condos, and like literally, it's just a condo complex with a couple of trees out front. Which, I guess, before the hurricane, a lot of those trees, there was more trees. A bunch of trees came down during the hurricane within this wooded area outside of the complex. But we're standing there, and he's like, "All right, we usually see them in this tree or that tree over there. These sort of fruits are the things that they want to go after."
And right when we were driving in, 2 of them flew in to a tree that was pretty
Mhm.
far back. And so we were like trying to get the scope on that and suss them out. And we could hear them, but we couldn't see anything.
Couldn't get a look at them. Yeah.
And they sounded a lot closer than where we saw them at.
Yeah.
Right above the guard station, we were like, that's kind of where they generally sounded like they were.
Yeah.
And there were 2
like conures,
Yeah,
like the bright orange,
like exotic,
yeah,
or pets.
there's somebody's pets, and there was like two of them that had been released and were just there, like probably out of one of the condos or something. I'm not, can't really speculate that much on it, but there's some sort of non-native exotic pet that was released. It was a conure parrot thing, orange.
But they were sitting right in the middle of the tree and like super obvious because
and so loud.
Yeah, because they were just brightly colored. But we could also hear the Amazon calling.
Yeah, so it was like you would hear the conure just scream, and then Amazon was like and scream, and it's like, so I'm trying to record it, and it's doing terrible because I can't. I can tell when I'm listening to it, but then when I went back to listen to the recording, it's like I can't separate these two calls away from each other to get rid of the conure call and just have the Amazon. So threw away the recording.
Anyways, while we were still trying to find it, Ricardo finally spotted that the Amazon was right next to the conure.
Yeah,
like they were feet
only
away from each other.
Only like 15 feet off the ground, like 30, 40 feet away from us, just like diagonally right there.
But it blended in so well to the tree.
Perfect colors.
Yeah, it was like impossible to see.
Yeah, so our last endemic that we got for the trip was the yellow-billed Amazon. Looking at it, it's a fairly widespread across Jamaica. There's another one, the black-billed Amazon. There's two different parrots that are endemic to Jamaica, and this one's the more widespread of the two. So we've got some of the more widespread endemics now. Now we have to return and get some of the more localized, smaller endemics.
They're kind of cute little Amazons,
Yeah.
though.
Big, tall, yellow bill.
But they look like sweet.
Yeah.
Not like the mean ones.
It doesn't look like a mean Amazon. Okay.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Sure.
Just in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
They kind of have a orangey throat and then like white around their eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look happy.
They do.
So it was pretty much time to get back to the ship, but Ricardo was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop and get lunch after I drop you guys off," and we're like, "Well,
he was like, "Do you want to go get a cup of coffee?"
Yeah, he asked us, "We want to get a cup of coffee," and then he's like, "Well, I don't know if you have time." And
it was also like 100 degrees out.
Yeah, it's like, why would I want coffee when it's this hot? But okay, sure. So
Eric will never pass up on coffee.
I won't pass up coffee. So we were like, "Yeah, let's go get it." And he's like, "Oh, I know this cafe. They have a really good jerk chicken too." And I was like, "Oh, perfect. That's exactly where we want to go. We want to go somewhere that you like to go on a regular basis. Like, let's go support this business." So there's a place, Cafe Blue. It serves coffee that's grown in Jamaica. Blue Mountain Coffee. It's a chain anyway. So there's a bunch of these Cafe Blues around Jamaica, but they're really good. I got a spicy jerk chicken wrap. That's Ricardo got that as well. And Hannah got it's like a sun-dried tomato thing.
Chicken and sun-dried tomato.
Chicken sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah.
Both really good.
Yeah, really good.
I really liked it. It was like just the right amount of spicy. Like it was just like spiced.
I think I got like an iced latte too, which
I just got regular black coffee.
I know.
It was a regular black coffee.
I know. It was so hot out. I needed something nice. And we had already drank all our water.
Oh, yeah. We were out of water at that point.
Well, Ricardo had more water.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to take that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, it was really good. And how many species did we end up with? You said we got 14 endemic species?
Yeah, 14 endemics out of 28, I believe, on Jamaica. I'm sure someone will correct me.
It's something about half.
Yeah, it was around half-ish of the total endemics, so definitely reasons to return.
Yeah.
Lots of good birds though that we got, so it was not a disappointment at all in terms of a cruise port. But like I think we've discussed this before. When we are on a cruise, going to these cruise ports, just going away from where all the people are going as much as possible, typically will get you good birds. So where we were at, there was no other cruise guests going up on that road, up on this hill. Everyone else is going to waterfalls and stuff like that. They were nearer to the port than where we were.
So I just counted. We actually ended up getting 23 lifers.
23 lifers.
And yeah, you said 14
of them were endemics, yeah.
So yeah, we got a ton of Caribbean species that we needed anyways.
Yeah.
But it was really beautiful. And even though there was all that storm damage, it was really nice forest and a lot of like habitat.
Yeah, in that area there was still a lot of intact habitat, which Ricardo, we were talking with Ricardo, our the guide, and he was saying, or we were kind of going back and forth about it, that it's good that there's habitat and then a destroyed spot, and not that it's good that it's destroyed, but good that there's intact habitat on both sides of the destroyed section, so things can quickly recolonize. The endemic species, the native plants and stuff like that can quickly recolonize, as opposed to areas that just get full devastation and it's just a big wide sweeping empty area.
Well, and of course, like, hurricanes have gotten worse over time, as we've changed the world, but
also hurricanes are kind of part of the natural
well,
structure
that's what I was going to
of
say
the ecosystem.
Yeah, and so we were asking him about, like, how long he anticipates, some of this habitat to recover. And he was saying, it's fairly quick because it's a hot area and things grow quickly.
Tropical-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Like subtropical, tropical, yeah. And so 53 total species in Jamaica.
And like a 5-hour time frame.
Pretty good total checklist for such a short little jaunt.
And Ricardo was great. We really enjoyed hanging out with him from Arrowhead Tours.
Yeah.
It was we were so grateful that he was able to work us in initially in the first place, because we haven't had luck getting guides on cruises, but we really appreciated that, even though there was all of the work up to it with the hurricane and his guides and everything, that he was able to take us out. It was so fun meeting him and birding with him.
Yeah, it was.
And he's just a really nice and interesting guy.
And honestly, we actually ended up knowing some of the same people from Florida that he works with. He works for the
it was like the environmental department.
Yeah, environmental department for Jamaica. So he has a lot of contacts in Florida where they have things like white crowned pigeons that travel back and forth. There was some interesting like scientific overlap of people that we knew from Florida. It's a small world. It's really fun little trip. So the next couple of stops we'll talk about in future episodes. But we did stop in the Bahamas. We stopped in Grand Cayman, and we stopped on an island off the coast of Mexico, Cozumel. So you have to have those things to look forward to in future episodes. But
happy holidays to you all, and Happy New Year, and good birding.
Yeah, and thank you guys all for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed it and or learned something new. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, or anywhere else you listen to us. If you would like to connect with us on the socials, you can follow us at Hannah Goes Birding and Eric Goes Birding on Instagram. You can follow our Facebook page at Hannah and Eric Go Birding, or you can send us an email at hannahanderic@gmail.com. You can also check out our website at www.gobirdingpodcast.com. Tell us what you think and share the love of birding with your friends.